Hello and welcome to the Ram Show. It is Sunday. I was going to say December, but it's not December. It's January 14th, 2018. Second show of 2018. Excited to be back. Hello, Zach.
Yeah, that's me.
So you said you're back in Iowa.
Yes.
Are you excited to be back, or are you like I kind of don't care, or where are you?
Break was nice. I don't want it over yet, but whatever.
Yeah, back to the fun of school, things like that. I'm excited because you're back because I actually want to like collaborate with you on some content this year. So
Okay.
some
Well,
hardware
we can do
stuff.
that at least.
So anyway, well, I mean, you are the I know you hate the title, but Chief of Hardware.
Don't call me that. That's a stupid title.
It is not a stupid title.
Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, fine. Then what should your title be?
Not that. I don't know. It sounds pretentious. You know, we've had this debate 1,000 times.
Yes, we have. But
We're
okay,
not
does
doing it.
mine not sound pretentious? President and
Yeah, it does. It does. I never said it didn't.
okay, but technically, if we're looking at it from a business standpoint, technically, I am the president of TechBee Media.
All right. Well, it still sounds pretentious. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever. Just accept it and move on. That's what I got for you. Anyway, okay, so I have to talk about this real quick before we get into tech topics, right? So I talked with you about it, but I want to put it out there, right? So I have my 13-inch MacBook.
Oh, it's this one. Okay.
Yeah, the
this
2012
sounds
MacBook
completely
Pro.
stupid. I don't even know how this happened.
I don't know how it happened either. Maybe somebody can like explain it in the comments section later. But anyway, so my mid 2012 unibody 13-inch MacBook Pro that I bought in like 2013. So it's getting up there in age and stuff like that. It's already got a memory upgrade, although the speed on the memory is probably not the greatest. Anyways, so it's maxed out on memory. I've got a new battery coming. I thought it was supposed to be here yesterday, but maybe it'll be here tomorrow, hopefully. Anyway, so I've got to put a new battery in it. And I decided that the only other thing I could really do to help improve like the speed and maybe get a couple more years out of it is to put an SSD in it. I mean, it sounds simple enough, right, Zach?
Well, it should be.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know just how easy it is to install a new hard drive in your computer, give them the TLDR real quick, Zach.
Put it in the case and plug it in.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. Put it in computer, format it, install the operating system.
Sure.
Like, am I wrong?
Well,
It should be that
that's
simple.
correct. If you're migrating to a new drive, if you're just adding one.
Okay, no. I wasn't adding, I was actually replacing.
Well, yeah.
So, anyway, so I pick up a 500 gig Samsung Evo SSD, the same one that is in my system right now, the same one we picked up for Joe, that's in his system too. And there wasn't a problem with them. They worked fine and everything. Actually, they were your recommendation, actually, Zach.
Well,
you
I
said
think
go
that
with
was my
Samsung.
recommendation based on the price that you found them for.
Yeah, they were actually pretty decent
Because
price.
you found them for a good price.
They're still on.
Normally, the MX300 is the one that I recommend people get because it's
The thing is, they're
generally one
still
of
on
the
sale.
higher, generally higher in the gigabytes per dollar category.
So anyway, but yes, they're still on sale. I picked mine up at Best Buy, so if anyone's looking for an SSD. Anyway, so go to the store, pick it up, and I figure, okay, take the bottom of the case off, take the screws out, pull off the back panel, disconnect the old drive, pop the new one in, and load into the recovery mode on Mac. And so I go into the disk utility, which is basically Apple's version of Disk Manager, and see the drive in there, and I'm like, okay, wonderful. So go to erase the drive so I can partition it and everything and put the correct file system on. Oh yeah, by the way, Apple has their own proprietary file system. Yeah.
Yep, of course they do.
I actually have 2 of them. I was gonna do
Wouldn't be Apple if everything wasn't proprietary.
I was gonna do the new one, but anyway, so I go to format the thing, right, and it fails, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I pull it out, pop it in my hard drive enclosure, and plug it into my main PC, right? Format it with NTFS, works just fine. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? So pop it back into the Mac, tried to do it again. It's not working because I figured maybe I messed something up the first time or whatever. Anyway, so after dinking around with that for a while, I finally found that like keeping it in the hard drive enclosure and plugging it into the Mac loaded into the operating system with the old hard drive, like I could format it just fine in the format that I wanted, but the moment I popped it in using the SATA connector, it just didn't want to work. It wouldn't format it. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I dinked with this for a good 6 hours the night that I bought it, and then maybe like 5-6 hours, and then 4 or 5 hours the next morning. And like,
see, I would have probably given up after like 2.
Yeah, see, but I was determined to get it to work, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
I would have just chalked it up to some fluke, just get a different one.
Yeah, or for whatever reason, like that drive just was not compatible with the Mac when it was inserted inside of it through SATA or whatever, because Apple's weird like that. So anyway, so I finally got to the point where I'm like, I give up. I give up. I do not know what to do. I give up. So take it back to the store, and I pick up I actually got, 12 extra gigs, because I have a SanDisk in there now. It's a 512 gig. And popped it in, and loaded into the recovery mode, and opened up disk utility, and it didn't show up. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me at this point. Well, in my troubleshooting, I found an article that stated that if your drive doesn't show up, you can actually try the command line. And so typed in the command line, list disks or whatever it is, and it showed up. And I'm like, yes, it showed up. It's seeing it. So I went from there and partitioned the drive. And I'm like, okay. And then it succeeded. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it succeeded. And then went in and installed the operating system after that. But yeah, that was a crazy fluke. I have no idea what the heck happened. But
in that case, you probably could have done the same thing with the Evo and it would have worked.
What do you mean?
Right?
Oh, the command line thing? No, I tried that multiple times.
Oh.
Okay, and it would start to it would erase it and then start to reformat it, and it would just fail. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Yeah, I literally tried everything that I could think of. I tried installing the operating system onto the drive, using the hard drive enclosure, and then popping it into the system, and it would maybe load once, or it just wouldn't load at all. No matter what I tried with the Evo, it just decided it didn't want to work. So yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I've got a SanDisk in here, 512 gig SSD. This thing is running wonderfully now. You're right. You told me when I switched to an SSD that I was going to hate life with a mechanical drive, because I'm so used to now just click, go. Yeah. So I had to work. So I actually swapped it out at work because I had some downtime. But I took it out to our meteorologist because I was talking with him and everything. And I was like, here, watch how fast this loads. And it was click, boink. He was like, holy crap. Because he has an old MacBook Air that's super slow and everything. He's like, I need to get a new computer. But anyway, so yeah, so that was my fun this week. Anything fun with you?
Nope.
You're so boring. So, all right. Well,
yeah,
let's get into topics for this week. Zach, I'm so proud of you. You actually have the rundown open.
Don't give me that.
You looked over the topics for this week.
Oh, please.
So anyway, well, let's get on with first topic here. Coincidentally enough, we are actually starting with Apple. So,
Yeah, my favorite.
so High Sierra is a thing right now, and that's the latest operating system that Apple has released for the Mac. And I think we briefly talked about it, but do you remember like a couple months ago there was like a big problem with it where like you could just like do anything you wanted without needing like a system administrator password?
Yes, I remember that.
So, anyway, well, now there's a problem with the App Store preferences, where apparently the same thing is happening, where basically anyone can access the App Store preferences without needing a password.
I wonder if that's linked.
No, it's not actually. So the bug will be fixed in a new update that's coming out. I don't know. I don't think it said in the article when that's coming out. But the bug does not allow access to sensitive data, is what they said. So,
Well, at least there's that.
right, yeah. So users and other system preferences are still protected. At least that's what they say. I have not had a chance to
I mean,
actually
if
test
they were
this out yet.
lying, someone would just try it out and find out that they're lying. So it's not like
Right.
they're lying.
So what somebody at The Verge did, they like, and I guess this is how it works. So, to check if you're affected by the bug, open System Preferences on your Mac, click on the App Store, then if the padlock on the window is unlocked, click on it to lock. And that's a pretty normal thing with Mac, where there's a little padlock down in the corner, and if it's locked, obviously you have to unlock it, put your password in, and then it allows you to change those settings. So once you click on the lock to basically unlock it, it's going to prompt you for a username and password, which at that point you can basically just type in. Well, I'm sure the username has to be correct, but you can type in any password that you want, and it will just unlock. So, yeah, that's wonderful. Which,
Good job, Apple.
yes.
That's not a horrible security hole or anything.
Oh, great. I love doing the show when there's nobody else home because my dog will either A, complain if she's not in the room, but then when she is in the room, she decides to still complain. There's like no happy medium. And if I put her out on the porch, she's going to complain because it's too cold out there. So, oh, goodness. Lay down. Lay down.
To be fair, it is
Good
like
girl.
-10. Well, that's what my phone says. It's probably not very accurate.
-10? Well, okay, so our porch is what's called a 3 seasons porch. So it's
Right, I remember that.
built for like 3 seasons, although there is baseboard heating, but I don't think it's on right now. And it does stay relatively warm-ish out there because you're blocked from the wind and things like that, but yeah, it's still cold out there. Even if you are a dog with a fur coat on. So, let's see. Actually, I'm overcomplicating this. I can just look at my watch. My watch says it's 18 degrees.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess my phone is not updated in quite some time.
That or it's set for Minnesota still.
That's true.
Let's see
Could
here.
have been.
What is the official temperature at the airport? I know this has nothing to do with tech, but I'm curious now to see. 18 degrees at the airport with light snow freezing.
Well, I guess you were right.
In meteorological terms, I think light snow freezing. I think that's, well, no, flurries-ish? I don't know. I wanted to be a meteorologist, but I'm not good enough at math to be a meteorologist, so I decided I would do technology instead. So, anyway. But yeah, oh yeah, so in late November, Apple rolled out a security update for macOS High Sierra that patched a serious vulnerability that allowed admin access to a Mac computer without providing any passwords. Dog. I don't understand my dog. Like, she sits out on the porch all day, right? And then she's like, because we come home and she's super excited to see us and she wants to come into the house. And then about 5 minutes later, she's like, okay, I want to go outside. So, I don't get it.
Indecisive.
Yes, and now she's complaining. Hold on. Now she's laying down and she's scratching. So we'll see what happens. I may have to let her outside. Yay, joy. Anyway, okay. Don't get me wrong. I love my dog. It's just annoying when I'm trying to do a show. So, what are... Oh, man. All right. I'm going to ignore that. Let's move on to the next topic here. It's somewhat tech-ish, but at the same time, it's not. But it's kind of funny, and it's been in the news, so I wanted to talk about it. So, Hawaii. Wonderful place, right?
Yep. I know what's coming.
I would love to go to Hawaii if I had the chance. And I don't know.
Too hot.
Really?
That's all I got.
Too hot.
Too hot, and like, I don't see any value in sitting on the beach.
Well, yeah, I guess you're not really into that. Okay, so I have to ask this then, because, like, the majority of people would say that... Really? Okay. Let's do this. You're going to complain, aren't you? Here, do this, because you actually read through the rundown for this week, Zach. Man. Why did I not just create a single graphic of you? Even though it's just...
What?
Okay, I need you to
It's only going to take you a moment. Just go for it. Nobody's going to care.
Okay, give people kind of an update of what's coming on.
What's coming up?
Well, just list topics real quick. I mean, don't give too much away, but I'll be back in a second. Hold on.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to spoil this one.
Don't spoil anything!
No. I mean, spoil what we were about to talk about. Like, well, not really. So, apparently some moron managed to send a message to a lot of Hawaiian residents that there was a ballistic missile heading for them. So, good job. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a prank. Sorry. There's no nukes coming to wipe you off the map.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
Okay. Okay, I didn't quite want to let the cat out of the bag yet, but since you already did, whatever. Let's move on.
You told me to talk about what things we were going to talk about.
I meant list like the next few topics that are coming up. Give a tease. Do you not know how to give a tease?
No, I don't.
Okay. Here's a great example of how to do a tease for next time.
Oh, no. Don't get me started.
So coming up later in the show, we're going to be talking about something that Microsoft did in relation to Meltdown Inspector. It's actually quite spectacular. Something happened at CES, which is quite funny, and affected a couple portions of the convention center that is being held at. And then we got some updates to Spectre to talk about a little bit later. And that is how you do a tease, Zach. See?
I will probably forget.
You give just enough information to get people interested so that they stick around. So, but you don't want to tell them exactly what's up because then they don't stick around. They're like, oh, okay, that's what happened. Anyway, so, as Zach said...
Well, that's what happened in Hawaii, yeah. Right.
Okay, I mean, we're on the story anyway, so, but anyway, so yes. So, you're a Hawaiian resident, you're just chilling, enjoying your day. Your phone starts buzzing. You look at it. Oh, hey, incoming missile. Take cover immediately. This is not a drill.
So, is this... So what do you think? Do you think you would believe it?
Well, okay, so I hate to bring politics into the show, but, okay, now I know you don't pay attention to politics, but you may have heard something in passing, but given the discussion that's been going on between the United States and North Korea, I could actually...
Of course, I love this. The North Korea drama is fantastic.
But
it's just funny to just grab some popcorn and watch,
Yeah, my button is bigger than your button. Oh, goodness. Anyway, I somewhat fear that the first nuclear war is going to be started over Twitter.
You know,
Like, as sad as that is to say.
that could be a thing. Yeah, you know,
Oh, goodness.
you joke, but who
Like,
knows?
yeah, I
Maybe it
joke,
could be a
but...
thing.
Oh, man. Anyway, okay.
You joke, but do you?
Right? Okay. But not bringing too much politics into the show because, like I said, I don't want to do that. The show is not about politics. This show is about tech and having fun and not dealing with that stuff. But anyway, so given the discussion back and forth between North Korea and the United States about, the nuclear programs and things like that, I can actually kind of sort of see this a little bit. Like, there's been talk about it. I believe that there's been talk from Kim Jong-un, or whatever the heck his name is, saying that...
I believe that's his name.
I think I murdered it a little bit, but who cares? Anyways, he's, like, apparently trying to blow us up, so...
Well, he likes to threaten to blow a lot of people up, but...
But he said that... Now, whether this is actually true or not, but he said that there are missiles that can reach the United States. Or they're working on them. Anyways, with that being said then, if I get this message, from the emergency alert system, which, usually if it comes from the emergency alert system, it's probably means that it's pretty credible. Yeah, it usually means that it's pretty credible. Like...
I don't know, just like the thought of this actually happening just seems so unbelievable that I might even question it, no matter who it came from.
See, I think in the moment, I probably wouldn't be thinking about that. It came from an official source, there's been talk about it, I'm not taking any chances, I guess. I don't know, though, because, see, it's easy to say what you would do when you're not in the position.
But, yeah, you don't really know until it happens.
But, yeah, until it actually happens, you're like... So, anyway, regardless, with the talk being put out there and it coming from an official source, people were, understandably concerned, taking shelter and stuff like that and preparing for impact. So, so it said people should take shelter immediately. It also did say that, what else was in there? This is not a drill.
Yeah, it also said it's not... They also specifically said it's not a drill.
They also specifically said it's not a drill.
That's not unnerving at all.
Right? Now, they did correct the issue, but it wasn't until half an hour later.
Well, yeah. Obviously, with something like that, if it's fake news, they're going to notice pretty quick.
I'm surprised that it took them a half an hour, though.
Half an hour? Well, yeah, I mean, I guess. I think they did say that it was human error.
Yes, it was human error.
Why can't they just send out another message that said, oops, our...
You cut off there. Oops, what?
Our bad.
No
nukes today.
Yes. Anyway, so Ajit Pai is doing his own investigation. I think the state of Hawaii or something like that, or whoever manages the EAS portion because I think it's a national thing, but I think state by state or whatever, they manage it themselves or whatever. I actually could be wrong on that. I'm not quite sure. Anyway,
sounds
there was an investigation that was launched, which led to this. So allegedly, at least from what I read in the article, what happened was that during shift change, they test the system to make sure it's working. Which, okay. Yeah. Sounds, reasonable.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay, I work at a TV station. Weekly, we test our EAS system. We get alerts sent down from actually, I think we get ours from a radio station, but they kind of trickle down, and then we send our own alerts to make sure that our stuff is working. And I'm sure if you've listened to the radio or watched TV, you've seen those happen before. This is a test of the emergency alert system.
Oh wait, I know. I was talking about the real thing. I've seen the real thing.
Oh,
The,
well, yeah, you've seen the
severe
real thing
thunderstorm
too.
one.
But
It's always for a severe thunderstorm.
but what I'm getting at is that tests are something that happen regularly, because the idea behind the EAS system is it's supposed to be designed so that
It will work when you need it.
government agencies can get information out to a lot of people in a quick fashion. So the fact that they test it, during shift change, okay, I can see that. Except for the fact that somebody may have kind of sort of possibly accidentally kind of sort of hit the wrong button.
Up and it was
no.
not a test.
Somebody kind of sort of accidentally hit the wrong button.
Yeah. They made it a real alert and not a test alert.
So, yeah. So that's allegedly what happened. Yeah.
So now what happens when an actual missile is about to hit Hawaii and they send out the alert?
I'm glad you brought that.
And then everybody's just like, oh, it's just they messed it up again. Yeah. Good one, guys.
Okay, and that was something that came up actually in the article. It was the problem with this now is that
it hurts people's trust in that this thing actually works.
Well, not that
it's
it
legit
works,
whenever
but that
they
it's
get
legitimate.
this
Yes, you're right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That it is legitimate. Now,
if a missile was coming to Hawaii tomorrow, how many people do you think would ignore it because of this?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. And so the thing is now is that they are implementing some security measures and some different policies. I don't know if I call them security measures, but different policies to try to prevent it from happening again.
Hold on, why weren't those policies in place before? Like, I see stuff like 2-person checks.
Yes, exactly. So that's,
I think with something
that is
with
something
a system
that
designed to warn people of nuclear Armageddon, that there might already be those things in place.
Or more clearly labeled buttons or something like that, or more steps to
maybe
like
more steps required to send the alert.
Right, but see, then you also I can also see this too, because you run into a problem where you don't want it to be too overly complicated. Because
then when you need it, it takes too long to send the alert.
Exactly. Here's a really good example. So there's a group of radio stations in our area, and every time, this is what one of my friends said, every time that they have like a severe thunderstorm warning, they're like, there's, here's a weather update brought to you by such and 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 such. Like, literally after a minute of going through sponsors or whoever, or advertisers or whatever for, the alerts and stuff like that, then they finally get to telling you the alert. And it's like, by the time you tell me what it is, it's already going to have affected me. So,
yep.
So it's kind of that thing where it's like, we have to make it complicated enough so that errors like this don't happen, but we have to make it simple enough so that we can deploy those alerts in a timely fashion. So
that sounds legit.
Anyway, yeah. I guess I've never experienced like one of these before where it was, it was perceived to be real and then it wasn't. So and I don't know how many other times this has happened, but it was pretty big news. I mean, we covered it locally on our station. It was covered nationally by CBS. I think, in fact, when we were doing CBS This Morning today, it was in there again. Yeah, it was. Because I remember talking to my coworker and being like, "Did you hear about this?" He's like, "Yeah." So, anyway. But, yeah. I don't know, like I said, though, I don't know what would be going through my head at that point in time. I think...
I mean, right now, I would say that I would probably question it.
Okay,
but, it's hard to say.
Here's the thing, though. Okay, if we received one for the middle of North Iowa, right? We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Why would anyone want to,
Why would anyone want to blow up the middle of nowhere?
Exactly. So, okay.
I don't think Mr. Kim is going to want to blow up the middle of nowhere.
So, I could kind of possibly, sort of, maybe? Again, I don't know. I don't know what I would have to be put in that situation. So,
yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, you're definitely right. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, next time it happens, like, are people going to trust it the way they should? So, and so I think they have some PR to do, and they have to figure out how to regain people's trust in getting things back on track with that. But anyway, all right, let's do this. Probably one of your favorite times of the entire show. Microsoft news. And when I saw this, I was like, yes, because it's been a while since Microsoft has done something dumb that we can make fun of.
Actually, having read it, it seems like kind of a co-screw up with AMD.
Yes, but I mean, still, Microsoft messed something up, so we can at least laugh at them for that. So, Spectre has been this big thing that's been going on for a while now. And there's, a lot of problems with figuring out how to try to patch it and things like that. So, on the AMD side of things, Microsoft has stopped sending out patches for AMD machines. And I believe it's all AMD machines. And the reason is... Okay, being that it doesn't affect me, it's kind of funny, but if you were somebody who was affected by it, you're not thinking it's funny right now. But, Zach, I will give you the pleasure of telling everyone what happened.
They may have made certain older AMD machines unbootable. And when I say they may have, I mean they did.
Oops.
Oops, you can no longer start your computer because we screwed up. Sorry.
Can I just say this right now? Okay? This is part of the problem with Microsoft automatically installing updates.
Yep, here we go. I mean, well...
Do you disagree?
To be fair, most people would have probably willingly accepted this update had they been given the option. It's true. The security patch for this horrible security bug. Oh yeah, I'd better have.
Okay, but, that is true, but
now they just forced it onto that many more people who may not have wanted it.
Okay,
who.
But as I heard from other tech people,
or whatever.
Okay, but as I heard from other tech people, right, and it makes sense. Is that, see, here's the thing. Back when you had the option of when you wanted to install updates, whether you wanted it to be automatically done, you just wanted it to download, or you wanted it to tell you that there's updates that you had to download and then install yourself, right? Here's the thing about that, is that if something like this happened, people who really cared about things...
force it on you.
Yeah, people who really cared about things could look at forums and stuff like that and see, oh, hey, don't install this update because it causes such and such error. And then they'd know not to install it. Now that's not a thing because Microsoft has said, screw the user, we're just going to install whatever we want on the box. So, yes. Which reminds me, I totally have to go through my mother's computer because it just did the Fall Creators update. And all those wonderful crapware apps are back.
I think you can actually, I figured this out, I think you can maybe roll back, not sure.
I don't think I'm going to roll it back, but I have to go through and...
You look in your update history, you might be able to roll it back. I was able to roll back some things that I had updated, but...
I still don't...
When mine took the creators update, it rolled itself back because the computer boot loop. Right? I'm not even going to bother troubleshooting that. Whatever, I don't care.
Here's my problem, right? Okay, so... Install new OS, crapware's there, like, okay, yeah, sure, such and such company paid you money to... And computer manufacturers have been doing this for years. But here's the thing, normally when you do an update...
who cares how long people have been doing it? It's still stupid.
Oh, I agree with you completely, but, like, that's the thing, is when you do an update, you should leave the system, you should update what you need to update, and leave the rest of the system untouched.
Like, hey, we noticed you uninstalled some of this garbage because it was garbage, but, we're just going to put it back for you just in case you change it.
How hard of a concept is that to just do your due diligence, leave the system the way it was? Like, it is the most frustrating thing to me.
Maybe that's their way of charging for the update. They get paid for this. They get paid to turn this
Okay,
stuff back on.
but Apple's got it figured out. They don't do that.
All right, that was kind of dumb. It's probably not how it is, but
Like,
it'd be funny.
yeah, but Apple's got it figured out. They're like, oh, hey, here's a brand new update. You can install it when you want. Oh, and the best part is, we're not going to install all this extra crap on your computer.
Oh, they don't install it even to begin with.
That's what I said. They tell you, hey, update's ready. You can go download it from the App Store whenever you want to and install it whenever you want to. We're not going to force you into it. And then, like I said, once you install it, they do their due diligence and they leave the system the way it was found. Like, here's the update. Here's maybe some extra stuff that we've implemented into the OS, but we're not going to install any extra crapware on your box for you. Like,
Good job, Apple.
yeah.
Ugh. Gonna have to eat some soap.
Which is
that.
which is part of the reason why Apple is so somewhat appealing to me still, is because they don't do stuff like this. But anyway,
Well, the other thing is when we're talking about phones, Apple doesn't do that either, and all the big carriers do it to all the Android phones, and it's the stupidest thing ever. You get
That
a new
is
phone,
true.
and it's just full of this junk, and you have to
and half the stuff you can't even
void your
some of the stuff you
warranty.
can't uninstall.
just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, no. To get rid of it, there's system apps. So, I mean, you can get rid of them just fine, but you'll have to root your phone to do it, and they don't like it when you root your phone.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You can
for
imagine
some
how
reason,
much I care what they.
Yeah, for some reason, manufacturers get a little mad when you decide to root your phone and access
almost
things that
like
you're not supposed to
It's
access.
mine now, and I'll do what I like with it.
Right? Yeah.
It's just like I don't know, and I fear that this situation could get worse in the future. It's probably not going to. So I guess we'll have to just
Yeah.
continue breaking our stuff to do what we want with it.
So, so back to the Microsoft thing. So support forums have been filled with, multiple complaints, as you can imagine, from people's systems who are now not
Hi,
booting.
I updated, and now my computer won't start. Help me.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
about that. We
Now,
messed up. Sorry.
Microsoft, I didn't fully dig into this, but Microsoft is actually blaming AMD documentation for this problem.
And actually, I mean, I looked at what they said. It seems reasonable. But,
Okay, because I didn't
you'd
look
think
into
they
it
would
that
check
much.
themselves, like, is this is good? Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of see part of it where it's like, okay, we should probably double check. But at the same time, it's one of those things.
Perhaps it's not something that they can double check. Perhaps
Exactly,
they have to
and that's what I
rely
was
on
gonna
what
say.
AMD says.
And that's what I was going to say. Is it something that they can't check because it's kind of proprietary information to AMD? That, like, AMD's like, this is just enough for what you need to know and no more kind of thing?
Well, it seems to me like more like a here, this is what you need. Don't give this stuff away.
Yeah, so AMD systems for right now are not going to be getting patches for the Spectre Meltdown stuff. Well, actually, no, Meltdown doesn't affect them. It's just Spectre, isn't it?
Yes.
So.
And I think Intel also has some firmware updates out for these now.
Yeah, I think I have that later in the Spectre updates. That's going to be fun to go through. Anyway.
Specifically, some things that those updates have caused.
Yes. Now, okay, so back to this AMD thing real quick here. So Microsoft is saying that they're hoping to release patches soon, or roll out shortly. What that actually means, because I don't think I saw.
I don't know what
here.
shortly means. Could mean anything, really.
It could be anything. But there are troubleshooting. So if it's affecting you, I guess Microsoft has troubleshooting steps online for you to be able to try.
Well, surely your computer is not toast. It's just.
I think they worded that incorrectly because from when I opened up the article to look at like the troubleshooters, it looks like it's blue screens is what's happening.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like your system isn't
still
technically not like starting. Like your system still boots up and everything,
like,
and it posts.
It will start, but it just
get
won't
into the OS.
get to the operating system. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least that's
sorry.
my
Maybe I
perception
said that wrong. I was not suggesting that the systems were not starting.
See, but okay, based off the title of it, it makes it sound that way. where
Well, there's a difference between starting and booting, isn't there? Like starting would be I turned my computer's power on, and booting would be I'm loading an operating system.
okay. I mean, if you ask like certain people, I'm sure that their definitions are going to be different, just
Well,
like
that's at
with
least how I
anything.
think of it.
And see, and that's my thing is, Microsoft halts AMD Meltdown inspector patches after reports of unbootable PCs. See, okay, thinking about it now with what you said,
Yeah, I think that still adds up.
yes, but as I was thinking about it, I see unbootable and I think, so you literally hit the power button, nothing happens. Like, so,
Not quite.
but yes, no, that is not the case. It looks like it just blue screens. So, anyway, so there is some hope there, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really look too closely into the troubleshooting steps
How do
because
you
it's not
patch
affecting me.
that? How do they patch that when, like, the operating system just doesn't load?
I don't think it's so much of a patch of that. Well, okay. I think what happens is that, and I could be wrong on this, but I think what happens is there is some way to roll your system back.
Yeah, I
How
guess
that works,
perhaps.
I'm not quite sure. And then I think that they probably have just revoked that patch and been like, oh, well, that didn't work. And they're
Yeah.
probably working on a new one, I would imagine. But I could be wrong on that. So, I don't know. That's what I would imagine happens is, oh, well, that patch didn't work. Let's get rid of it. Let's get people back to a point where they can start their computers into the OS or boot their computers into the OS, and then we'll figure out what we did wrong and redeploy a patch. Like, that's what makes sense to me. But whether that's actually what's happening or not, I could be wrong on that. I'm not Microsoft. So, anyway. All right. Let's move on to something kind of funny here. So, every single year around this time, there is something big that happens in Las Vegas. Zach, what is it? Did I lose you?
Oh. Say that again? Didn't catch it.
Okay, so
All I heard was Las Vegas. Sorry.
okay, so something in Las Vegas happens every time at this year, or
Well,
every year
since
at this
I
time.
looked, I already know, but
Well,
would
yeah,
it
that's
be
the
CES by any-
yes, it's CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Showcase, where big giant tech companies reveal all the new tech that's coming out to other techie people and people in the tech world. We're not that cool yet, but hopefully
Cool
one day
stuff.
maybe we will be. That would be totally
Maybe
awesome.
one day we can just go whether we're cool enough or not.
Yeah, that's true. So, but I think it's expensive to go to Las Vegas. See, I think what normally happens
Yeah.
is like companies like fly you out and they put you up in hotels and things like that, which would be sweet. I would love to go to CES. It's like bucket list item. Anyway,
You better hope for a miracle for anybody to pay for it for us.
or like somehow
And you
our
better
channel
hope that
takes
this
off.
doesn't happen while we're there.
Oh, right. So I guess there's been a lot of problems at CES this year. But so imagine this, right? So you're wandering through the venue hall, like the event hall or whatever, enjoying your time. Da, 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 da. Click, power goes out.
Oh, I hope there were no perhaps electronic devices at the Consumer Electronics Showcase that might depend on this source of power to function.
Right.
It'd be unfortunate if they didn't have power. Oh, they don't have power. What's the point of the electronics showcase if there's no electricity for them?
Okay. Some devices have batteries in them though.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Just saying.
So
Just saying.
I guess if you're walking by a booth showcasing cell phones or laptops, they're good
Right?
until they run out of battery.
Exactly.
And hopefully they don't, because given that this occurred for about 2 hours, I really hope your cell phone or laptop can last longer than.
Some can nowadays. Some can. So basically, what happened is in the north and north central halls of the Las Vegas Convention Center, the power went out for, you said 2 hours, Zach, and yeah, it was about 2 hours. So the first report started popping up on Twitter around like 11:14 a.m. Pacific time, which I think is like an hour behind us, I think, because we're Central Time. Anyway,
I believe it's 2, isn't it?
it
If
could
you're
be
wrong.
2. I don't know if they fall in the same time. I don't know what time zone California is, because California is 2 hours behind us.
Okay. Pacific is 2 hours behind us, and I think Mountain is 1 hour behind us.
Oh, you know what? You might be right. See, I'm not great with time zones and geography.
Neither am I.
This is also why I'm not a geography major. Anyway, so.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Let me stop real quick. Hey, we have 3 people watching with us right now. Joe says
Amazing.
hi. Backyard
Hi,
Tech.
Joe.
Good day, all. It does not surprise me in any way, shape, or form from Microsoft. It must be in relation to the updates. No. Chad's here. You can still control Windows updates in Windows 10. That's partially true. If you disable the update service.
If you have a I forget, I don't know which edition includes this because I don't have it, but I think at least in Pro, I don't know about any other editions that have this, but you can just group policy it, you know.
Oh yeah, you could do that too. If you, well, actually, I think you
But
have
if
to
you're
have
like me and you have Home, no group policy
yeah,
for
because
you.
you have to have Professional Edition, I believe, to actually be able to do group policy stuff.
Well,
I
yeah,
think.
and in that case, you can use group policy. But if you don't, well, sorry, updates.
Yeah, Backyard Tech says the 2 issues cause blue screens of death. Regarding, I think, the Microsoft stuff. Causing the machine to not boot the OS. However, some machines are not posting. Ooh.
Oh, how does that happen? What? How does an operating system patch cause a machine to suddenly stop posting? What?
I'm not
That's
sure.
horrible.
Backyard Tech, if you can elaborate on that, that'd be awesome.
That sounds awful.
Right?
And also oddly
what do you do at
funny.
that point? Do you call
because it's so
Microsoft
absurd.
and do you call Microsoft to be like, yeah, so
I guess I'll
update.
install Linux now. Oh, my computer doesn't post anymore. Oh,
Well,
no.
okay, so if your system's not posting, can you install another operating?
Well, no, because your computer no longer posts.
Yeah.
Your
So-
computer is a paperweight if it doesn't post.
Right? So what do you do at that point? You contact Microsoft to basically be like, hi, you owe me a new computer. Because your update
Yeah, and while
basically
you're at
bricked my
it, maybe
computer.
I'll get a better one.
Right? So anyway, back to CES
But
stuff.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably messy.
So security decided that they were going to evacuate the banquet halls, which in retrospect makes sense because
What's the point of evacuating over a power outage?
okay,
though?
but see, here's the thing.
what's gonna
Okay,
happen?
this is why I can understand it. Is what caused the power outage in the moment? You know, is it
Okay.
terrorism? Is it?
That's a possibility, I suppose. Like it could be something worse, right?
Yeah, it could be something worse.
I guess
so,
terrorism probably wouldn't be the first thing on my mind, but maybe like a fire.
I don't
or
know.
something.
They
If there's
did
a
just
fire
have that big
happening, you
Las
don't want
Vegas
people-
shooting not that long ago, a few months ago.
Well, all right, I suppose.
And-
Maybe it's a bigger concern at a big event like
Exactly, and that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking it was more a security measure just to make sure that everyone was safe.
Well, also it could provide an opportunity for terrorism, like all the lights are out, everybody's in.
And see, that's what I'm thinking. Security was thinking was, power
Good
went out in the
opportunity for
moment.
some
Why did the
terrorism.
power go out? And so let's just get everyone out of here before something possibly bad happens. So, anyway, now here's what they believe the cause of the problem was. It was from condensation from heavy rainfall that caused a flashover on one of the facility's transformers. I'm not an electrician, so I don't
Ouch.
totally know all the technological
I believe a flashover is like just lightning kind of thing. Like it went from one point to another through the air.
Okay, I don't
At
know.
least I think I might be wrong. I don't know.
I'm not an
I'm
electrician.
sure it would
I
have
don't
been
know.
spectacular to watch.
Yeah, this huge banquet hall just all of a sudden. Pew!
Well, no, it wouldn't have been in the banquet hall. It would
Oh
have been
no!
elsewhere.
Okay, you're talking like the actual transformer.
Yeah, on the transformer.
So I didn't
I don't
see
know.
this. I'm
not
waiting
an
for this to
electrician
happen.
either.
I'm waiting for this to happen. So at the TV station, right? So we have a giant tower outside the building, which is our backup tower. I think a long time ago it actually used to be like the primary tower. Anyway, big giant piece of metal sticking up in the air, and
Oh, you're waiting for it to
lightning.
get hit by lightning, aren't
Oh
you?
no! It has been hit by lightning multiple times.
Well, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Like, how would it not get hit by lightning?
See, but like, okay, see, lightning rods are supposed to be a thing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Knowing how our station is put together, I wouldn't be. Anyway, so our senior operator up in Master Control was up there one time when the tower got hit by lightning, and he said that literally the other half of the room turned into a giant fireball.
Whew.
Yeah, and it knocked us off the
That's
air
awesome.
for a couple of hours or so. And all the news people were freaking out because our electronic news processing system, which they used to like basically make the entire show, wasn't working. So yeah. And for some reason, news people, okay, not all the time, I could be over exaggerating, but news people tend to sometimes think that they're more important than everyone else. But see, here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter whether EMPS, the system that we use, is working or not if we're not on the air. So
Right. That sounds reasonable, I
right?
think.
And so the engineers are, kind of dealing with the fact that we're kind of sort of not on the air.
And they're probably going on about, we need this.
So anyway, so I'm waiting for that to happen one day. But yeah, so I can only imagine that this like Transformer thing was almost as spectacular as that happening. So anyway, let's see what else here. So yeah, preliminary assessment indicates that condensation from heavy rainfall caused a flashover in one of the facility's transformers. That's a statement from the CTA, the organization that puts on CES. We are grateful to Nevada Energy for their swift assistance to our customers and their clients for their patience, and to the staff for ensuring the safety and security of all attendees and exhibitors. The outage impacted hundreds of companies like LG, Samsung, Sony, which I would assume are, they've got these massive displays that are pulling lots and lots of power, to power all the screens and lights and other things that are happening. And here's the most, like, this is kind of the sad part, because it also affected small startup companies that were there.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the
paid
thing.
thousands
It
of
costs money
dollars
to
to
have
be
a display there, right?
Yeah,
So what
thousands
happens
of
to them?
dollars.
Do they get some of their money back for the
That's
lost
what I'm
hours?
wondering. And see, I didn't see anything about that. I was wondering about that. Did they get some of the money back because of the lost time? Like lost time, lost profits? Yeah, I would hope so too. So yeah, and this also said that this year's CES seems to have been marked by more chaos than usual, including unprecedented rain that flooded streets and shut down Google's giant Funhouse booth for a day. Google had a giant Funhouse? I can only imagine.
Why does there need to be a fun house at CES? Like, don't you go to CES because it's fun?
Because what else is Google going to do? Like, they're the search engine that's based on taking over the world. They've literally, like, okay, I shouldn't say literally, but they've created, quite a bit of things, Oh, what else do we come up with? Oh, hey,
They're kind of taking over the world, whether they're trying to or not.
Right? So, anyway. But yeah, I don't know if this has ever happened at CES before, which is kind of a miracle if you think about it, if it hasn't, because just think about how much energy must be sucked from that banquet hall with all of these exhibitors and all the stuff that's going on. Know what I mean?
Probably a lot, but probably not overly more than any similarly large event. I mean, well, I don't know. Maybe I could be completely wrong, but
yeah,
I would think that a similarly large event would also suck a lot of power, even if they're not showcasing things that require power.
And here's the thing, though. Things have probably gotten a lot more efficient over the years because LEDs and, I think electronics in general have become a lot more energy efficient. There we go. That's what I'm trying to spit out. So, anyway. All right, I don't know how much time you had to look through this. I didn't have time to really like narrow down a ton of this. So yeah, let's just jump in. But Spectre, kind of the one of the big things that's going on right now in the tech world.
The other big thing.
I think that there's still a lot of unknowns with this right now.
There are.
So let's start with AMD. So AMD is releasing Spectre firmware updates to fix CPU vulnerabilities. So AMD's initial response indicates that there is an almost zero risk to AMD processors. However, that doesn't mean that there's zero impact. I don't know exactly what they mean by that, because doesn't Spectre... See, because it sounds like AMD is saying that there's no effect on it, on the processors, from, like, they're not susceptible to Spectre. See, and this is what I don't understand.
They're not susceptible to meltdown.
But here's the thing: we're specifically talking about Spectre.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
AMD,
maybe they're full of garbage.
Okay, unless what they're saying is AMD's initial response indicates that there is almost zero risk to AMD processors. So maybe that's what they were saying, and now they're like, oh, actually it does. But AMD's chief technology officer said, we have defined additional steps through a combination of processor microcode updates and OS patches that we will make available to AMD customers and partners to further mitigate the threat. AMD is releasing patches for Ryzen and EPYC customers this week and plans to update older customers in the coming weeks. AMD is not saying what, if any, performance impacts the patches will have on systems. Now, Spectre Variant 2 is pushing vendors to ready firmware updates for Mac and iOS devices, and it could be even more complicated for Android because of the multiple different variations of Android that are out there, because literally like almost every single phone developer has their own like somewhat different variation of Android. Now, here's an interesting thing, though. So AMD says that its Radeon graphics cards are actually not susceptible to Meltdown or Spectre because they don't use speculative execution.
Sounds like a potentially lost performance in not using that, right? Don't you think?
I'm sorry, one more time. I was spacing off the chat.
Don't you think maybe that they would potentially lose performance by not using speculative execution on graphics cards?
I guess I don't know enough about.
I don't either. I guess I don't know. There's probably a good reason why they don't. Like, it's been around for a while, and
right, and it might just be because of
it's not going anywhere. So maybe they just decided they don't need it.
Well, and maybe it's just because I could be wrong on this. I don't know. I'm literally talking out my rear end right at the moment. But, like, okay, think about a graphics card. It has, for the most part, one specific job, and that is to crunch numbers for graphics. So I'm wondering if the speculative execution just doesn't need to be in there.
Doesn't benefit so much?
Yeah, like it doesn't benefit from that or something like that. Although I could be totally wrong. I don't know anything about this stuff, really. I'm just here to basically say, hey, this is what they're saying right now. Like, that's about the best I have on this, and maybe giving a little bit of my input, which is probably totally wrong because a lot of this goes way over my head. Like, dude, if it goes over your head,
people.
Yeah, if it goes over your head, it definitely goes over my head because you understand the hardware stuff more than I do. So
to some extent.
Yeah, exactly, to some extent.
But there's tons of stuff that I don't know either.
Yes.
Of course.
Now, Intel is promising to actually be more transparent about Spectre CPU performance impacts. See, this is the other thing with this huge thing right here, is that at least I've been hearing and been reading that there are going to be performance impacts because of this, which I can see, because if you're taking away speculative execution...
They're not taking it away.
Well, okay.
They're just making it less... they're just reducing the... performance improvement that it offers.
See, I thought part of it was like they were kind of like taking it out for right now until they like figured. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, but
yeah, I don't think they've just completely gone and got rid of it. It's still there.
But this is the big thing right now: is what is the performance impact going to be because of the patches that are being placed? Because this has been kind of a big thing, and I don't know whether it's that these companies don't actually really know, right now, or that they don't
Oh
have
yeah, there's a
time
lot
to
of
try to
unknowns
figure
about
that
it right
out,
now.
or if they actually figured out that the performance decreases are not going to be great and they don't want to tell people about that. Like, I don't know which three, if it is any of those three, is what it possibly could be. So, anyway. But, yeah, so Intel is deciding to be more transparent. We'll actually see if that happens. But Intel CEO Brian Krzanich, I think. Anyway, he has written a letter to the rest of the technology industry addressing concerns about Meltdown and Spectre. Intel said it's ready to be transparent about issues cleverly worded, transparent after issuing cleverly worded statements and altering guidance on performance issues related to security fixes.
Here's the thing. I think they're ready to be transparent only because they got called out
That
for
could be.
this clever language, I guess we could say. I don't know. And they're trying to get back some of their lost PR, goodwill. I don't
That could
know.
be too. So as we roll out software and firmware patches, we are learning a great deal, admits CEO. Great. Maggie wants to come in now. We know the impact on performance varies widely based on the specific workload, platform configuration, and mitigation technique. I have no idea what any of that means. Zach, maybe you can help me out? Or did that just go above your head too?
Kinda, yeah.
uh, See, this is why we need like a computer science y person who understands us more to like explain it to us. Do you have this up right now?
I did earlier. No, not now.
Can you pull it up? Because I know Maggie's going to bark here in probably about another 30 seconds to a minute because she wants to come in.
And what exactly would you want me to do?
Basically continue reading and giving your input.
Right. Hold on.
I'll finish this up real quick until you get it and let me know when you have it. But Intel is committed to releasing patches for 90% of CPUs that have been manufactured in the last 5 years by January 15th. Now, any other processors will receive updates hopefully by the end of January. That's what they're aiming for. Most PC makers have poor update systems, so it's yet to be seen even whether users are actually going to get those updates. Now, Microsoft is, at least for their Surface line of products, going to be utilizing Windows Update to send updates down. But if you think about other companies like Dell and HP and Lenovo, and, well, Apple has actually a pretty good system. I could see them. Anyway, manufacturers are going to try to have to figure out how to push those firmware upgrades down to the users, whether that's by possibly through their own means or using Microsoft as like an intermediator to possibly push those things down or something like that. I actually don't know how that works. Do you have that up, Zach?
Yes.
Did you find it? Did you figure out
But
where I am?
not particularly.
Okay, all the way down at the bottom, Spectre updates. We are in the second paragraph, like second block of text. So let's see here. You see where it says Microsoft will elect to release.
And you spend more time trying to get me on this article than you did to go do whatever it was you needed to do. You should have just gone and done it.
Well, the point is that you'll have it up.
I have it up now. Thanks.
Okay, do you see where it says Microsoft will elect to release Surface firmware updates through Windows Update? I have an idea.
I don't see where. What?
Here, hang on. Okay, do you see where it says? Oh, come on. Ah! Okay, so you're at Spectre updates. Here. Oh my goodness. Do you see where I am right there in the document?
Oh, you're on that one.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, start with Microsoft will elect to release Surface firmware updates through yada yada yada. Just read through.
What, you just want me to read it?
Yes! That's basically all I'm doing right now, and then we'll talk about it in a second. So.
All right, well, as he said, they're going to
Go.
release Surface firmware updates, so that's going to be great, and you're going to get them whether you want them or not because it's Windows Update, and we said you need Intel plans to provide frequent progress reports of patch progress, performance data, and other information over at Intel's dedicated Spectre and Meltdown site, whatever that means. I didn't know they had that. And Intel pledges timely and transparent communication. Intel's pledge of those things is exactly what is needed right now, provided the company follows through. That's kind of a if, though, because
yeah, it is an
Intel.
if. Lay down. Go lay
down. And well, yeah, working on it. Thanks. Intel is facing growing criticism after Microsoft has already revealed the potential performance impact.
Yes, okay, so Microsoft has revealed the following. Windows 10 running on Skylake, Kaby Lake, or newer CPUs show benchmarks. See, okay, this part was copy and pasted, so somebody made a typo right here. Benchmarks show single-digit slowdowns, but most, shows single-digit slowdowns, but most users shouldn't expect to see noticeable slowdowns. Windows 10 running on Haswell and older CPUs shows more significant slowdowns, and some users will notice a decrease in system performance. And then Windows 7 and Windows 8 running on Haswell or older CPUs means most users will notice a decrease in system performance. But that's all they're saying. They're like, maybe there are numbers somewhere, but we don't have numbers here.
There are numbers somewhere, definitely.
Basically, essentially, if you have a Skylake or newer processor running Windows 10, then you shouldn't be noticeably impacted by the firmware updates. But Intel has released new benchmarks, but only for Skylake and newer machines. They haven't done any thing older than that. And there's also no numbers for server workloads. However, Microsoft is warning that server workloads could be significantly impacted. Now, Microsoft says that companies might actually have to pick between security or performance, which, yeah. So,
why do I have a feeling that a lot of companies are going to pick performance and then get burned?
I kind of see that, actually. Now, going forward, Intel is also committed to publicly identifying future security vulnerabilities and share hardware innovations that will accelerate industry-leading progress in dealing with side channel attacks. Whatever the heck that actually all means. I guess they're
I would
more
assume that side channel attacks means this style of attack.
Basically, in short, what they're saying is we promise to be more, I don't know,
yeah, but if you didn't get called out, they probably wouldn't be promising that right now.
And it's still yet to see whether, well, it's still yet to see how transparent they're going to be. If you if you think about it, if you actually think about it, so,
hopefully they're not full of garbage.
Hopefully not. Now, Intel Spectre patch is causing reboot problems for some older processors too. Let's see.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know whether that refers to firmware updates or operating system patches
or what exactly. See, I'm only going off based on what I have from the articles, but
because, well, here's the thing. It mentions Haswell and older CPUs. I have a Haswell CPU. I also have checked, and I have the correct firmware updates applied, and I'm not having any problems. So,
okay, so Mr. Chief of Hardware, even though I know you hate
that
title.
Don't call me that.
But that is your title! Dude, it literally says that on your business card.
That I don't have.
Yet.
Yet.
Whatever. At some point, that might actually become a thing. Anyway. I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so okay, Mr. Chief of Hardware, dude, just accept it because that's the title I've given you. That's what you're being branded as. So just accept it. Anyway, so you said you have a Haswell chip. I'm running a
Yeah.
Q66. What? I guess
I have
code
no
name?
clue what that would be called because it's way old.
Will you get on that for me? Thank you.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay, so Intel is running into a See, I haven't had any problems yet. Cross my fingers. Knock on
I'm
wood.
willing to bet that you probably also invisibly got the patch. Like
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did. Anyway, you know what? Here's my thing though, right? As long as everything that I do still keeps working, I'm happy. So,
You're not gonna notice, are you?
dude, no, I will not notice unless like my system dramatically slows down. I'm not gonna notice. So, but like, okay, despite like the fact that I like love tech and we do the show and we talk about things like, you know, techie and things like that, like when it comes to numbers and things like that stuff isn't really like, I don't necessarily completely understand all of it, nor do I actually completely care about it for a couple reasons. And that is because if it's working and it's doing it well enough for me, like that's good enough for me. Which would explain why I still have a 2013 MacBook Pro, you know, sitting next to me.
Yeah, but is that really good enough? Ugh, not if you ask me.
But see, you care about that more than I do. See, my thing is, if my system is doing what I'm asking it to do, and like I said, it's doing it decently well, then I'm happy. Like, that's all I'm asking, basically.
Well, same, except I'm asking it to do more? I don't know.
Well, I'm sure that'll change once I actually build my own system, and it's going to be like the SSD thing where, oh, hey, this is totally awesome. And then I'm going to go back to like something else, and I'm going to be like, oh, this is horrible. I'm going to be like, okay, time to do an upgrade here. So, if I sneeze just at some random point, just be ready for that, because I have to, but we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, so as we said, Intel is running into problems with patching Meltdown and Spectre vulnerabilities that became public last week. Now, Intel has warned about 3 specific flaws in recent updates and is urging customers to hold off on patching their systems right now. I don't actually know what the 3, because I didn't necessarily see that in the article, what the 3 flaws were. But this information was first released in emails to the Wall Street Journal, and a follow-up announcement by Intel says the issue may cause reboot issues in systems running older Haswell chips. I wonder if that's partially what happened with your system. Because remember...
Oh, are you talking about how
It
when
boot
I
looped?
tried to get the creators update but didn't really try,
Yeah.
Microsoft just said I needed to have it,
I wonder if that's
and then it did
possibly
that
part of
weird
it.
thing? I don't think so, because I think that was before the firmware updates were even a thing.
That could be.
But Intel has a utility that will just check your firmware version, and I ran it, and it said that I was good, so I guess I'm...
Intel has known about the Spectre issue since June, and rewriting processor firmware proved to be a significant challenge. I can only imagine.
They've known since June? Ooh, I thought it was not that long.
Yeah, they've known for a while. Now,
Okay.
Microsoft has stopped deployment for AMD systems, as we talked about earlier, after some systems would not boot after the update, which might sort of be a problem. Now, patching CPU
perhaps.
firmware is seen as the most technically difficult element of Spectre recovery. This This is also the patch that is most likely to affect performance. However, it's still yet to be seen what the impacts will be. Intel's recent benchmarks show that the impact will be less than 5% slowdowns on recent processors, but the test did not expand to Haswell chips. So,
I mean, I guess I don't know if there's any firmware difference between a 4790K and, for example, a 4770K, because I have a 4790K, which is a Devil's Canyon chip, aka Haswell refresh, so it's basically a 4770K with not toothpaste for under the heat spreader, because that was a problem with the 4770K. People joked that the material under the heat spreader was like toothpaste. It sucked at dissipating heat. Blah blah blah. So they have now there's a 4790K. Oh yeah, it's better at that. Woohoo!
Didn't
I don't know if there's any other differences.
Didn't Intel like make fun of like AMD because like they were gluing processors together at one point in time or something, like gluing portions of the processor together at some point in time?
Yeah, they talked about that with Threadripper. Oh,
Yeah.
they just put two 1800Xs together. Ha ha ha! Stupid AMD.
Glued them together. So anyway,
Well, what if gluing them together actually worked really well? You ever thought
that'd
of
be
that?
interesting. That would be interesting. And like Intel was
Well,
just
you
butthurt
can
about
look. You can go look at performance benchmarks and go see. I mean,
it. See, no, that
for
sounds
the
like
money,
something
it's
you
the
would
best.
do and not me. See, if I want to know about this stuff, this is why I ask you.
All right, well, I will tell you that for the money, they're pretty darn good.
See,
And Intel is full of it. Like they
uh,
are a lot of the time.
see, if I don't have to like remember things or like, you know, if I can ask somebody about something, I'm gonna ask somebody about something. So, hence why I ask you about hardware stuff, because you often usually know. And if you don't, I know you'll find out. Because yeah, that's what you do. Anyway.
Hey.
Same as when you have a problem, you'll often ask me for my input. So,
After I ask a Google, that is.
you know what still one of my favorite websites to date is? Let me Google that for you.com.
Let me Google that for you.
I've actually used that on Joe before.
It's a pretty good one, but nobody falls for it twice.
So anyway. So you know what? I'm not going to get into this too much because my head hurt after reading the article. And the news has already kind of been out, but basically, I guess somebody at Gray's University, wherever the heck that is, reached out to Intel expecting to ruin their day about this whole Spectre thing, only to find out that they actually already knew about it. And then they basically asked them to just be like, hey, would you not tell anybody until such and such date? Things like that. So, and a whole bunch of other things with other companies and things like that. Although, see, here's the thing. In the article, what they mentioned is that, because I don't know how long the whole Spectre thing has been known about in secret, but it sounds like it's been for a while. And so for it to stay a secret this long is actually kind of amazing if you think about it, considering all the multiple parts that there are, because it's not just like, you know, like one manufacturer, like, you know, it was something that was with Intel and only like Intel. No, it's like Intel and AMD, and then it also affects like, you know, internet browser company, or like, you know, internet browsers and other software and things like that. So think about it. There are a lot of parts here. And that's a lot of people to be like, hey, this is a problem, but we need you to all keep it in the dark. So it sounds like I said, it's been known for a while. And so for it to stay quiet this long is kind of amazing. If you think
Well,
about
I guess, I mean, if you think about it, I bet a lot of those companies might be hurt
that
in
could be
some
true
way
too.
if this
That
were
could be
to
true
get
too.
out. So, it's not really difficult to not talk about something that would probably cause you some problems.
Yeah. Hold on one second here. There we go. Okay. Oh. I'm still getting used to this. There we go. Let's try that. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that's about really all I have for the show this week. I mean,
Well, it's been an hour and a half, so
it has been
fair
an hour and a half, which is usually about what we go, and this whole Spectre thing, quite frankly, still makes my head hurt. Because
I agree.
over my head. But, you know, it's a big thing, so we got to kind of sort of talk about it. But I guess our input is not as, you know, out there as it probably could be. Because, again, we don't understand it and things like that. So, anyway. But, with that being said, I guess, I mean, I really don't have anything else for this week, like I said. So, yeah. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. If you did, thumbs up. If you didn't, I guess thumbs down. Get subscribed if you haven't done that already. And turn on notifications with the bell so you get notified whenever we do a new show. By the way, Sundays, 5:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We're here. Highly encourage people to, you know, comment in the chat about things that we may not know about, because it's actually nice to hear some of those things and get a better perspective of, you know, what's actually going on. Because believe it or not, we don't know everything. There are people who know far more than we do, and at least I welcome their input. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye, and we'll see you all next